Okay, I'm going to finish up this video series. I ran into some trouble finishing off this vest, and I'm going to tell you what the problem was. I took a piece of spare fabric and I put on my buttonhole and I tried to make a buttonhole. Well, first thing is you can't put your fabric down with the fur against the feed dogs. It won't make you a buttonhole. It'll just stay in one spot because there's just too much fur to catch on the bottom of your buttonholer. So the only way to make a buttonhole is to put it with the fluffy fur on the top and then do it this way. But there's no way to mark your buttonholes from this side, so I took a piece of black contrasting thread and I put I sewed it in so I could tell from the opposite side where I wanted those buttonholes. But then once I got the buttonholes made up, the button I put in my buttonholer was too big for this little vest, and I couldn't fit two of these buttonholes on top of each other because it would have been just too big and it wouldn't have worked. So then I tried to find smaller buttons, and I really didn't care for the color or the way it looked on here. So I'm not going to finish putting buttonholes in this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go get some nicer buttons, maybe some bone color buttons or something that'll look good on here, and just sew them on, and then put a couple snaps here inside and just snap this closed. It's just too much hassle trying to get buttonholes in here. If I would have done the buttonholes before I even sewed the whole thing together, and then I could have put my pattern on top of where my buttonholes were and then cut my pattern out, that would have worked. So, but that's a lot of pre-planning on making these if you really want to go with the buttonholes. They do work and they will hold together and you can use them that way. But now I understand why so many of the vests that you get have this either a piece of leather coming out, a piece of cord, or frogs, or if you look online, most of the sheepskin vests have some kind of hooks like this, where it's just a hook in a button, or a hook in those bone-looking buttons. But anyway, that was that one. So what I did while I finished this up, so you can see what it looked like. So we'll see what it looks like. This is those fake seams. I didn't sew. I just sewed straight down the center, and that gives you that rugged outdoor look. If you find that some of the fur is sticking out in the wrong place, just trim it down. So the only thing here is I did the one across, the three down. I made all my turns, and then on the front I just took the top of the, I have the pattern here, right here. I have the top of the pattern here, see that? I just put, that's where I just put the just for a little bit of extra design. But you could do, like, you know, the diamond, not the diamond, yeah, like the diamonds that come down, chevron, if you want to call it a chevron, where it comes down with just the one. You see that a lot in these type of vests. But anyway, I didn't do this one pocket so you could see what it looks like to sew it. So I sewed very close to the, you can see exactly where I sewed on the other side. I sewed very close on the edge of this pocket, and it's an actual pocket. You can actually put things in there. I mean, it's kind of small, but you can actually fit stuff in there. So anyway, I'm going to sew this one so you can see what I mean about how you can clean it up at the end. So I'm not going to use these buttons. I just didn't care for them. So, and I'm going to just use snaps on this vest instead of trying to deal with buttonholes. It's just too much hassle. Okay, so let me take my buttonholer off. Oh, I should have had this prepared. Sorry, I didn't even I forgot to do all that. Okay, so go back to your one. Use a wider stitch because it's easier. So I'm technically going to leave that pin in there until I can get down so I don't have it shift on me. And I think it's in the right spot as far as that goes. So what I did is I just took a piece of a square fabric and I just tucked it down, and then I just sewed across and made it perfectly square. I thought about making a pocket like this because I saw that online and I thought that was kind of cute, but I didn't really, it just didn't look good to me for some reason. Maybe I just didn't do it right. Maybe if it had that, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, if you like that kind of pocket, you can do that. That was what this was right here. Okay, so back to, let me see where you are on the machine. Okay, let's see if I can swing over a little bit so you can see better. Okay, so I'm going to leave the pin in, and I'm just going to go to my one and a couple clicks bigger stitch. I'm going to leave that needle in just so I can get that started. So I'm just going to sit down. Okay, so just go very close to the edge as possible. Okay, so once you make that turnaround, go ahead and take that needle, the pin out. Okay, so make sure your pocket is still even. Go across the bottom. Okay, pick up, turn it, and come up the other side. Make sure your leather stays flat because you want that to not turn up on you. Okay. So now what you have is this little, you have a lot of this little fur that sticks out of the side. If you don't like it, you can always trim it down. So, but it does look cute when you have a little bit around there on the pocket. So let me cut this one too. Okay, so if you don't like it, you can cut it down, but it is kind of cute. You see how it looks a little cute when you have a little bit of the fur around the outside. So it's up to you if you want to trim it down and get it even and look nice. If you don't have any, you can pull some out with a needle or your fingers and get it out. But this one's a little bit too long, so you can just go ahead and trim it up. Okay, and there you go. That's the end of this jacket. This one is just the vest, so there is no closures. I mean, you can add closures to it if you want to. There's just so many things you can do. You can just design your own jacket. You don't even have to do it like they make them. You just, however you want to do it. Okay, anyway, that's the end of that. So here's a lot of your choices. This is the just a plain old vest. This is 1902, but I did make adjustments. I don't even know if I can find it again. Yeah, okay, here was the 1902, nope, that wasn't the one. Oh well, I'm not organized here. Anyway, I ended up having to adjust the 1902 also, so what I did is I just made it wider out this way. I curled the top and I brought the outside to match exactly with my adjusted 1902. So I made sure those lined up. I made sure my armholes were the same, and I used the same top on here, and that's how I got it. So see how my back piece is folded? I brought the pattern out where it was almost exactly the same to match in the middle, but not quite. See, there's like about 1/8 of an inch here, but I did widen that out. This is where I did that crossover on the top. So that was one option. This one was a vest I designed. I'll put this online if you want to ask for this one. I'll do it with the line here, so you can either make it this way without that overlap, and then it'll be just this way like that. And then this was the original 1902 that I did. I don't know if you can even see the difference, but you can tell. See the difference in the armholes? This was the 1902 pattern. This was the one I adjusted. What else did I do? See how that's hardly any overlap in the front? See, here's the side and the side. See how wide that is open in the front? On mine, I put them so they were actually touching. So there wasn't that wide gap in the middle of that, as it is on the 1902 vest. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.